Have you ever started a simple coding project only to find it spiraling out of control? A small bug appears and fixing it breaks three other things. You add a new feature and suddenly the whole application feels clunky and disorganized. It's a common story for developers. We dive into the code, driven by an idea but without a map, we can easily get lost in a forest of our own making. This feeling of being overwhelmed, of not knowing where to start or what to fix next, is a sign that a good process is missing. A simple process can turn that chaos into a clear, predictable journey from start to finish. The solution is not to code faster or work longer hours. The answer lies in a structured approach. The Software Development Lifecycle, SDLC. Think of it as a recipe for building software. Like a chef following steps to bake a cake, a team follows SDLC to build reliable software. It provides a framework that outlines every stage of the creation process, ensuring nothing is overlooked, and the final product matches the intent. This walkthrough will take you through each step, making the process simple and manageable. We will explore each phase in plain language, from the initial spark of an idea to the long-term support of a live application. Real-world examples will show each phase from a coder's perspective. Common tools you can start using today. Frequent mistakes developers make, simple, actionable tips to avoid them. The very first phase of the SDLC is planning. This is the strategic foundation upon which everything else is built. Before you write a single line of code, you must define the project's purpose and scope. What problem are you trying to solve? Who is this software for? What resources are available? Time budget team members. Imagine a team wants to build a simple mobile app for tracking personal expenses. In planning, they decide the core goal. Help users log daily spending quickly. Estimate: 2 developers, 4 weeks for V1. Target: young adults who want to manage budgets. Common mistake: be too vague or skip planning and jump into coding. Tip: write a one-sentence mission statement before doing anything else. Following closely behind planning is the requirements phase. Here you get specific about what the software must do. Gather detailed info from stakeholders, future users, business managers, translate those needs into functionalities. For the expense app, requirements include: the user must be able to create a new expense with an amount and category. The app must display a daily total of all expenses. Be clear and unambiguous. Once you have a clear understanding of what you need to build, you move into the design phase. This is where you determine how the software will be built. This phase has 2 main parts: high-level design, low-level design. High-level design involves creating the overall system architecture, how different components will connect. Decide on the programming language. Decide on the database. Plan how data will flow through the system. For our expense tracker app, consider React Native for the mobile app. Use Firebase for the cloud database. Low-level design gets more detailed, focusing on the specific modules and functions, database schemas, user interface layouts. A common mistake is to over-engineer the design, making it far more complex than necessary for the current requirements. A helpful tip is to start with the simplest design that could possibly work. With a design in hand, the development phase begins. Writing the actual code. Developers take the design documents and requirement specifications and turn them into a functional product. Work is typically broken down into smaller, manageable units or features. One developer builds the add expense screen. After the code is written, the software enters the critical testing phase. The main goal here is to find and fix defects, or bugs, before the product reaches the users. This is a systematic process of verifying that the software meets all the requirements defined earlier and works as expected in various scenarios. Testing isn't just about finding crashes, ensuring the user experience is smooth, ensuring the performance is acceptable, ensuring the data is secure. For our expense tracker app, a tester would try to break it. They might enter text into a number field, they might try to save an expense with no name, they might see what happens if the network connection is lost during a save operation. A common tool for this is a testing framework like Jest Selenium, which can automate repetitive tests. A huge mistake is to have developers test only their own code because they often have blind spots and may not use the app like a real user. A good tip is to have another team member test your feature. Once the software has been thoroughly tested and is deemed stable, it is ready for the deployment phase. This is making the application available to users. The software development lifecycle does not end once the application is deployed. In fact, for many projects, this is just the beginning of the longest phase, maintenance. This stage involves all the activities required to keep the software running smoothly and effectively for its users over time. It can be broken down into three main types of work. Corrective maintenance, fixing bugs discovered by users after release. Adaptive maintenance, updating software to stay compatible with changing environments. Perfective maintenance, adding new features or enhancing existing ones based on user feedback. For our expense tracker, fix a bug where the daily total calculates incorrectly. Update the app for the latest iOS version. Add a new feature to export expenses to a CSV file. A common mistake is treating maintenance as an afterthought or low priority. This can lead to a growing list of bugs and user complaints. Technical debt. To manage maintenance effectively, have a system for tracking issues. A simple bug tracker or a shared spreadsheet can work. Sentry, LogRocket. These tools automatically capture errors in the live application and provide context. Prioritize bugs by severity and number of users affected. Fixing a critical bug that impacts all users takes precedence over a minor cosmetic issue. The maintenance phase is where you build a long-term relationship with users. The software development lifecycle is not a complex set of bureaucratic rules. It is a simple, logical roadmap that brings order and predictability to the creative act of coding. It guides you from the initial spark of an idea to a mature, stable application used by real people, by breaking down the monumental task into manageable phases. Planning requirements. Design, development, testing, deployment, maintenance. The SDLC helps you avoid common pitfalls, reduce wasted effort, build better products. It transforms chaos into a structured journey, allowing you to focus on solving problems and delivering value. You can move forward with confidence. Start applying it, even in a small way. You don't need expensive tools or a large team. It scales down to a solo project and up to a massive enterprise system. Each phase gives a clear action step. First, define your purpose. Next, understand the core needs. It is time to start building.